Hello, my name is Bernadette McDonald, and I'm your host today on the podcast, What is Your Real Name? I'm really fortunate to be able to bring these interviews to you within our adoption group, Quebec Adoptions, AACDQ, about stories of adoption, family affiliated with adoption, anything around adoption, and the province of Quebec. So today our guest has a wonderful journey, an interesting journey from all different aspects. Please welcome Sue Riel. Good morning.
Hello. Thank you.
You're welcome. So share with us how your journey of adoption all came about.
Okay. I was adopted from Canada through Catholic Charities.
Oh, so you live outside of Canada right now?
I do. I live in New Hampshire.
Okay.
And I've pretty much lived in New Hampshire my whole life. So because I was adopted from Canada, I needed to become a United States citizen, as my parents are from the United States, my adopted parents. So I've known like my whole life that I was adopted because they had to provide all this paperwork. It was a big deal. I also have an older brother who's also adopted from a different family.
Wow.
So it was the two of us, and our picture was in the paper. You know, it was a big deal. So all my life, I've just known that I was adopted.
Okay, so how did you end up in the paper?
Because I guess we were young children, so we were 4 and 6, and we were at the courthouse becoming United States citizens, okay. And somehow that made the paper. I still have the clipping. My mother had kept it. So I don't know. I guess it was just a nice story at the time to put in the paper.
Okay. How old were you when you were adopted?
I was 9 months old when I was adopted.
Yeah. And your brother?
My brother was 13 months old when he was adopted.
Okay. Do you know the circumstances behind why you and your brother were put up for adoption?
I was just told that my birth mother was not married and needed to put me up for adoption.
So probably financial assistance.
Yeah,
Okay. So where did your journey go from there?
So I never really sought out any information. I didn't, it didn't matter to me, I guess you could say. And then
there wasn't a need or an urgency for any particular reason.
Right. So the only thing that I was interested in is finding out any health issues, because you go to the doctor, that's the first thing they ask. Do you have any of these things? Which I never knew, because I always just said, well, I was adopted. I don't have any of that information.
Were there any surprises on that aspect of things?
Meaning?
Hopefully no medical issues.
Oh, well, I did learn that my birth mother, she did have breast cancer about 20 years ago. So I was able to discover that, but she is in generally good health, and she overcame. So she survived her breast cancer and is healthy.
That's great. That's great to know. Yeah,
definitely. So my son did Ancestry DNA. It was part of a school project.
Okay.
So when he got his results, this was maybe four years ago, he got his results. It was interesting to see the lineage and all of this. So I decided to do it, thinking, oh, maybe I can find out something. It was interesting just to learn a little bit more about my genealogy. So I did the ancestry DNA. There wasn't, my son came up, of course, as a match. And other things were mainly all third and fourth cousins. I did reach out to a person who actually lives in New Hampshire who showed up as a cousin, a distant cousin, but she never returned my message.
That seems to be very common, unfortunately, with a lot of people.
Yeah. So I have reached out several times on Ancestry and without a whole lot of luck, I guess you could say.
How many hundreds of thousands of cousins do you have?
Oh my God. It's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
It's oh, hang on. Hopefully you never win the lottery and they go, hey, I knew you before. It's like, yeah, okay, I know your family, but.
Right. Oh, yes. It's a lot. It's a lot. Lots of pages of information there for sure. In February of 2019, I received a nice message from Angel and we showed up as a very close match. So he could either be a half brother or an uncle, or maybe he was the son of, my parents' brother or sister. So we started conversing. He told me about his journey. He was also born in Canada, and he had I guess you could say filled out an application with the Secretariat of Canada.
Okay, and what's the Secretariat?
The Secretariat, there was, I'm not too familiar with the law, but there was something passed that sort of gave people an opportunity to open up their adoptive, their adoption records. So he applied for that, and he did find out a lot of information. So because of that, I applied for that information. Angel and I, we talked about our lives. We decided to meet each other in June of 2019. And so we met in Montreal for like a family vacation kind of thing. My daughter came with me. We went and visited the Secretariat. At the time, my case they hadn't started working on my case yet. Okay. So he had gotten a lot of information. We surmised that we were connected with the birth mother. Oh. So on the mother's side is how we had that connection. In October of 2019, I received confirmation that sorry.
It's okay. That he's your brother?
Yes.
That must have been overwhelming.
It is. It was. I mean, we had a feeling that that's how we were related, but to get that confirmation was just like such a relief. I don't know. So our mother gave birth to him when she was 16 years old. Okay. When she was 21 years old, she gave birth to me. So when we go through the Secretariat, they have one chance to reach out to the birth mother. to see, oh, your child is looking for you. Would you like to have contact, a letter, a conversation, whatever? They help coordinate all of that.
Okay.
When they reached out to her on Angel's behalf, she refused. She said no, she didn't want any contact.
Okay.
Because my case was and that's how it ends. They're not supposed to contact the person again. Because my case was a new case, they were able to reach out to her again. So Angel and I both felt like, well, they're going to contact her again. She's got to know that we've maybe had a connection.
Yeah. Maybe
she'll soften up and say, well, you know what, the two of them, maybe I will connect. But she refused. So because we had known that she refused, my caseworker said, I'm going to contact her. Is there anything, specific? And I said, well, if she doesn't want to talk to us, can I at least have the health records, the health information? So that's how come I knew that she had breast cancer several years ago. So she did not want contact. And so and they could not locate my birth father. So at this point, we can reapply for them to
see if
research, right, after 2 years. Okay. And so the 2 years is because if the parent has passed on, after 1 year of their death, they would give me her name. They give me her information, but she has to be deceased for a year. So
and that's a shame. That's
right.
A shame.
It is. So in November of this year, I could reach out again.
Okay.
And then if she is deceased, then they would release all that information to me.
So it implies that she has technically put a veto on her information, and that's part of why many people need to wait periods of time
right.
to get the information.
Yeah. So Angel did receive his birth father's information because his birth father had passed on.
Okay.
So he has that side of his family.
So he's now aware of mother and father, our biological mom and dad.
Right. He has that name of his father, but not our mother. We don't know who she is.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. We don't have a name or anything. They wouldn't disclose that. So during all of this, Gus, who you spoke to on a prior podcast, his adopted mother also arranged Angel's adoption.
Okay.
So
is Angel in
he's in Miami.
He's in Miami. Okay.
Yes, but he grew up in Cuba also,
okay.
And then came to the United States. So when I went to visit Angel in Miami, Gus also came to visit because he maybe lives, I think, an hour or two away from Angel.
It's not far, yeah.
So we met his wife and his mother came, and it was just really cool. And I know he's like all about like, hey, I know people that can help you discover more information, this, that, and the other. Do this GED, upload your information onto GEDmatch, do MyHeritage, all these other things to get more clues to.
Exactly. Utilize all the tools.
Exactly. So it was during that GEDmatch I discovered I was related to Gus.
So am I.
It's like
him and I would be I think it's fourth or fifth cousins.
Yeah.
Very low.
Yeah, I'm a little bit closer on GEDmatch. Like his mother comes up pretty high for me. Yeah. So his birth mother. So that was interesting. And then Gus also facilitated a meeting with, I guess they're called like a search angel.
Mm-hmm.
So this woman, her name is Irene. She is doing the heavy lifting. So she's doing a lot of the legwork. She had started on our information. I think I hadn't done the MyHeritage yet. And then I did that. And most recently, I got a match on Ancestry, and I started conversing with this person, and I just decided to reach out to Irene to say, oh, I have more information. And then she just like kind of went crazy, and she was putting together a family tree for me. She's contacting other cousins on my behalf and sending letters. And so there's a lot coming at me right now. It's overwhelming, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Like, especially when you have everything come at once. So this newest person could potentially be who?
It's potentially somebody on my father's side.
Okay.
Yeah, which I really knew nothing about. And there's a lot. Like, I almost feel like after we discover a little bit more and make,
Connections,
know that things are certain, that we could have a whole other conversation. Because this other person has followed their lineage back to the 1700s. Yes, to this woman, and and then he shared his tree with me, and we're not closely close. It's like first cousin twice removed or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm. Close enough.
Yeah. So so that's really interesting to know, like, to really think about, like, wow, this goes back to the 1700s. And yeah, so it's been an interesting discovery. It is a lot to take on. I did want to, I know we have talked about this, but just to know that you have ancestries. I have a cousin from my adopted family who does genealogy, and I was never really interested because I just said, well, this isn't really my family.
Yep.
These are not my genes. And now that I know I have family,
exceptions change.
Absolutely. It's very exciting. Really interesting, a little scary too, because you don't know what's in the past, what kind of people you come from, right?
How do your adopted parents feel about you going on this journey?
So I'm gonna just backtrack a little. My adopted brother's mother located him.
Wow.
About maybe 30 years ago.
Okay.
She sent a beautiful letter and pictures of her other children with another man to my mother. It was a beautiful letter. And
would you recommend that to people who are looking for family?
I think when you sit and write and get your thoughts down on paper, it really does have a big impact.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I thought the letter was beautiful. Okay. My adopted mother was heartbroken. She was afraid that my adopted brother was gonna not care about her anymore. Mm-hmm. She didn't want to know anything about it. She didn't want to have anything to do with it. My adopted brother, he does have 2 half brothers and a half sister. Okay. I've met them all. They're wonderful people. Mm-hmm. They live in Canada, and we visited with them. They've come here. Wonderful family. So
how does that make you feel?
Yeah, when I first met them, we were all at dinner at this big table, and it was the whole family and this, the husbands, wives, everything. And I just all of a sudden felt like so alone.
Yeah, a table of all these strangers.
Right? And I'm
but blood.
Wow.
But blood.
Exactly. And I just thought, wow, I don't have any family. I really don't have family. I mean, I love my adopted parents. I've had a great life. Really, really. It was just like somewhat of an eye-opener of, wow, I am alone. So I think that's why meeting Angel has meant so much to me.
And I think it propels people to want to then search.
Right.
Well, to me, it's either a make or a break. So if you get filled with, I have nobody, and you don't do anything about it, then yes, unfortunately, that emotion will carry. But it can also propel you into going, oh, hang on, he found his, maybe I'll find mine.
Right. Yeah. I do know they confirm that there aren't any children in between Angel and I, and there's a 5-year gap, but we still feel like, both of us feel that we may have other siblings.
Okay.
Half-siblings and what have you. I was very fortunate because my birth mother saved a lot of records from the adoption. So okay. I had my original birth name, which was Johanne Marie Bernard. And I'm just going to say I was born on November 24th, 1962. Just if there's anybody out there who that, I don't know, something
the same.
It's worth saying, I think. So I needed a passport. So I've always known that that was my given name at birth. Although from my understanding, a lot of times the birth mothers will just make up a name.
I am in that position. You know, I have the name Bernadette. I have my middle name Marie. I have my mother's maiden name, and then I have a facetious name that's attached to my mother's maiden name. That's like, okay, where does that come from? Right? So, yeah. Falsified documents.
Right.
Common back then. So it's wonderful that your mom, in a sense, because she is your mom, kept all those records and kept that paperwork, and I'm surprised in a sense of how you were able to get that, be given all that information, and yet in the same token be told don't look. It does.
Right. Well, yeah, that's back to the letter and my mother feeling devastated. And my adopted brother has never treated her any differently or any less.
And as he should, like it should
right.
be. Yeah.
But at the same time, that letter, and then my mother looked at me and said, I hope this never happens to you. Like, I don't want to lose you too, kind of thing, to a birth mother, which, you know, I had never done a whole lot of digging.
Okay.
And then when Angel came up, I did tell my mother. I mean, she's old, you know, she's older. She's 88 years old. Well, she's 89 years old now, but at the time, 87, 88. And I told her, you know, I found this brother, and she met him when he came to visit, and she was fine with it. very good with it. She
Mm-hmm.
loved meeting him. He's wonderful.
Gives you hope.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think because it was a sibling, it's not as
Threatening?
correct, not as threatening because it was a sibling or is a sibling. I have not told her that I'm doing more digging. I did not tell her that they also tried to reach out to my birth mother. Those are all things that I've kept to myself, just because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
But it must hurt you not to be able to share that with her to an extent. I totally understand how, we want to protect our parents. I get that. But the emotion that you're hanging on to must be crushing in some respects.
I think because I've been able to share Angel with her, that's that sort of made it
a little easier.
A little, yeah.
And plus you have Angel to talk to about. So it's not like you're unable to share.
Correct.
Right? And I have somebody that is family going, yay,
And even my adopted brother, he is very supportive. He helped me when it was time to fill out all this paperwork, and so and I've kept him in the loop all along the way. He had also come to Canada to meet Angel, and so, it's just like extended family. It's a beautiful thing. And I also have two more nephews, and two great nephews on Angel's side. So that's exciting.
Yeah. So will you be joining us at the big happening event in Chicoutimi, Quebec next year?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I get to meet you.
Yes.
Because I definitely will be there also. Hopefully I find my twin by then.
I hope so too.
Or the very near future anyway. That would be great. I've only been searching since I was 15, so
a couple years.
Only a couple. Just a little bit.
Oh, goodness.
But anyway, was there anything else that you felt that people who are on this journey need to be aware of, or what tools, like if you know of specific tools that really helped open the door for you?
The forms with the Secretariat, and I did, it's very easy to go online and look up just Secretariat of Adoption International, Quebec.
Okay.
In there, the forms are there that they could fill in. If they're from Canada, if they were born in Canada and adopted, they can fill in the forms. I also had sent them all the records that I had. So I had a health certificate. I had some other, a social welfare court document, another legal document from Canada with a lot of information on it. So I think that was probably helpful when from their side, from the caseworker's side.
Yeah.
And the caseworkers there are so thoughtful. Angel's caseworker, she's very affluent in Spanish, so she was connected with him. And then Maria, she connected with me, and they're very thoughtful. They know that this is very emotional.
Yep.
So they sort of prepare you for whatever's going to come next. Here's what could happen. Here's what might not happen. You have to really help you be prepared.
Exactly. Because you could have all the information in the world, and all it is a matter of somebody putting a veto and saying, don't contact me.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much you have. It really doesn't. Until one day, hopefully they haven't passed, where you're able to ask those questions, or even have that relationship, or just to see, I see a similarity. you know, or even just as simple as why. You know, everybody has their own different journeys, their different ways of handling things, and you know, in no way, shape, or form, to me, it should ever be a judgment. Unless you are that person and walking in that person's shoes specifically, it's really hard to understand where a parent would come from of giving a child up.
Right, like you said, we don't know.
Exactly. Hang on, let me recap that. You've done Ancestry?
Yes.
Have you done 23andMe also?
I didn't do the 23andMe yet.
Okay.
I did the MyHeritage and uploaded everything to GEDmatch.
Okay. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. And I have to really thank you for sharing your story. Okay. I mean, it's an emotional journey, and time is precious. And thank you so much for sharing with our peeps who watch us.
Thank you. And I've enjoyed the other podcast as well. So yeah, it's great. Really good. You're doing wonderful work. Thank you so much.
Well, I thank you. It's not just me. There are a few of us who are doing it. It's just my start, in a sense, or my passion for having people's stories being heard. You know, in hopes that people who are new or people who have given up, you know, yes, not everything happens overnight. Just because you have DNA doesn't mean tomorrow you're going to know who your whole family is. Doesn't mean that at all. You know, yes, there are some people who have been fortunate enough to do DNA and go, whoa, I got my mom, I got my dad, I got my grandma, like I've got everybody, but those are so far few between. And some people's journeys last years, you know, like, look at me, I'm going on 50 some odd years and still haven't found out, you know, the answers. Yes, I've been fortunate enough to find a biological father by fluke, to be honest with you. Was not looking, wasn't in my radar, you know, found siblings. Never even a thought or a fathom, an inkling, hey, you might have other siblings. Nope, didn't occur to me. You know, so a little bit of win-win and a little bit of whoa, wow, and who are you? And oh my God, I got more family. You know, all good and dandy. And, you know, just for me, it's just the final journey, the final piece to the whole puzzle over the years. And bang, I've got all my answers, you know, but some people don't, you know. But anyway, thank you, Sue, for joining this podcast today. And I'm Bernadette McDonald from What Is Your Real Name? And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.